Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So it's been a while since I did a real estate video. I thought I would do one for you today. I've gotten a lot of requests and questions about real estate, especially since two things have happened. One, I did an interview with Matt from Engineered Truth, and he titled it "How I Make $10,000 a Month Passively from My Real Estate Investment," which is, it's a great title. But that definitely stirred up a lot of debate. You can check that out there on his channel, actually. And then recently I've sort of soft launched, although by the time that you're watching this, maybe I've done a full launch of I put together a real estate course for software developers, a real estate investment for software developers, where I outline the basics and my strategies and stuff. So I've got a lot of questions about that. Of course, I've done a lot of real estate videos on this channel. I've got a whole playlist you can check out here. But I get a lot of questions from young people that want to get started in real estate, or you don't have to be young, but definitely a lot of young people, and they want to know how to get started and how to invest, and do they have enough money and all this stuff. Is this a good path for them? And I was thinking about this, and if you want to know how, like, the basics of how to get started and everything, the basics of real estate investment, again, I'm going to point you to my real estate course. The idea is it's a fairly expensive course, right? It's like $500. Maybe the price will change, but it probably will go up, not down. By the way. The idea behind this course is that it goes over all the basics and teaches you, all the stuff that you need to know about real estate. It doesn't make you a real estate investor, but it's one of those things where if you spent $500, honestly, to buy the course just to figure out if real estate investment is a good idea for you or not, it would be well worth it. Now, I'm honestly saying that, including a money-back guarantee. I'm not trying to specifically plug the course here, but I think if you're trying to figure out if it's good for you, totally worth spending the money to find that out and to get some knowledge about it, because that's the course it'll give you the basic steps of how I do it and all that stuff. So anyway, I wanted to give a specific example, a specific thing that I think you can do, especially if you're young today, that like a strategy. There's a lot of different strategies to get involved in real estate, but this is one that I think that will fit a lot of you. I've been thinking about this a lot because a lot of you have been asking this, and so here's what I'm going to outline for you today. So if you really want to get started with real estate investment, you don't have a huge amount of money, and you're not sure, but you want to do something that's possibly going to help your future, what I would consider doing is, instead of just going and buying some random house and trying to rent it out and get a property management company and all that, I still recommend getting a property management company, don't get me wrong, but try and see if you can find a duplex, or maybe a triplex or a fourplex even, a multi-unit property. Buy the property and live in one of the units and rent the other unit, right? So if you buy a duplex, that's 2 units in one, right? So you buy, and this is a totally viable, like, let's take a duplex. Let's make it really specific. One thing that you could do here. So you go, you shop around. Again, I talk about how to shop around, how to make evaluations. I'm not going to go into the details here. I'm just going to give you the very basic strategy, but I talk about all that stuff in my real estate course. So if you want to get that, go check that out. Like I said, that's going to give the specifics, but I'm going to talk about the more general here because we don't have time to get into all of that. So essentially, go and find a good deal on a duplex, right? Something that is a good deal that's going to cash flow. And then what you do is you buy that owner occupied, right? So what that means is that you're going to get a better financing, a better interest rate. Get a 30-year fixed loan, right? And you move into one side of it, and then you rent out the other side. Now, you could get a property management company right from the get-go. In fact, it's probably a good idea. Or you could try renting it on your own. For those of you that aren't convinced that you want to get a property management company, this is a good test. It's not going to cost you a huge amount of money. It will cost you some headache. You'll see what it's like to manage a property. Maybe you can do it, but I certainly couldn't do it. But you could do that, right? So, and here's the beauty of this, right? So why am I recommending this? Because it is quite possible in a lot of markets, not every market. It's not going to happen in San Jose, where I'm at now, right? It's not going to happen in most of California, or some of the high expensive areas of Las Vegas and in Florida, things like that. But in the Midwest, for sure, in different places, you'll have to see. But if you live in one of those places, what you can do is you can literally buy a property where the rent that you get from one side of the duplex will cover the mortgage on the entire thing, so you're essentially living rent free. The tenant that you have is paying the mortgage on your house. So, I mean, even if you're not going to go into real estate investment, even if you're like, John, I'm not going to buy 20 properties, but I want to kind of dabble, I want to see what it's like, or get some kind of benefit from it. Especially if you're young and you can live in a small place and live in a duplex and you've got a little bit of money and you don't have a huge amount of money, this is an excellent option, right? You find a cheap duplex, cheapest one that you can get your hands on, that's somewhat decent. In fact, you could find one that needs a little bit of work, right? So that you can get a really good price on it. You go and you work and you fix it up and you live on one side while you're fixing it up, and then once you got both sides fixed up, you rent out one side. And let's say that you find a duplex and you get that side rented out and it's paying the whole mortgage for you, and now you're living rent free. That's a great place to be, right? You can stay there for a long time, and then you can make some moves from there. But even if you did nothing besides that, that would be a great move for your future, because you would be having a house paid for by someone else and they're paying your rent. How beautiful is that? That's a totally viable scenario, something that you could totally do. Again, you might have to put like 10 or 20% down on a loan, but save up and you could do that for sure. It's totally within reach, and I think that's a great strategy. And if you could do it with a triplex or a fourplex, great. And like I said, one of the advantages that you're going to have is that you're going to get a lower interest rate because it's going to be owner occupied. Now, I know some real estate investors, what they do is they basically like live in a place for 2 years and then they buy a new place and they move into that, and they basically just keep on doing that. And that's a perfectly valid strategy. So you always get the lowest interest rate. So there you go. That's it. I think that's a totally viable strategy. You have to know. I don't want to make it sound too simple. You have to do some work. You have to figure out how the pricing works in the market. You have to run the numbers. You have to figure out if it's a good deal and if it will cash flow and if those scenarios check out. Again, I'll point to it one more time because I think it'll be helpful to you, which is I do have a course on real estate investment for software developers where I do talk about and show you how to do this and give you the numbers and how to break these down. There's going to be a bunch of stuff that's coming to the course if you're one of the early adopters. I'm going to be adding a lot more material to it. But yeah, so there you go. There you have it. That's a perfectly valid way to get started in real estate investment, and especially if you're young, and you'll be happy you did. So anyway, if you like this video and you would like to see more videos, go ahead and click the subscribe button, the big subscribe button below, and you will be subscribed, and you'll get to see videos. I do about 2 to 3 videos a day. Yes, that's right, a day, on all kinds of topics on personal development for software developers. So anyway, that's it. Take care.